you talk about being like honesty in your book a lot, resolving things, and also being specific. I think is probably now is the time to be so specific about what you need.
Couples start staying stuck because they love each other so much. They do things to try and avoid conflict generally. I call it peacekeeping behaviors. So instead of saying no, they'll say yes. People probably won't like me saying this, but when we argue, there's a bit of drama, and drama can give us a bit more of that feeling of, even though it doesn't feel good, it gives us a stimulation as well. It's interesting. There's not what you say, it's how you say it too. But what you're saying is right, that I call it being direct. When you're direct, and instead of, for instance, if there's something that's challenging you with your partner and you don't say anything about it, then you might think, well, I'm just not sweating the small stuff. And that's fine, but conditions apply. If you're secretly seething about them doing that, but not saying anything about it because you don't want to create a conflict, then that's going to increase your resentment. And the more your resentment rises, in my book, I talk about a link between resentment and tolerance.
Oh, I have it here.
Is that basically what it talks about is at the beginning of a relationship, we've got zero resentment, no frustration, no annoyance, zero resentment, and we got like 5 gazillion% tolerance. You know, those real, you can sit and listen to your partner talk about putting their socks on for hours. They're so exciting. And that's the beginning of a relationship. And when they scrape the knife on the bottom of that plate, it doesn't matter because they're there and they're your partner and you're growing and building a relationship. But if you don't talk about it and you start to seethe about it, or you try and say nothing and you do all these things called peacekeeping, then your resentment gradually rises and your tolerance basically takes a nosedive. So what started as a cute and quirky behavior is now annoying the hell out of me, and I don't know what to do about it, and I'm so annoyed and I just want to be away. So now I'm going to pull away more and speak to my friends more in that other room.
I think it is important to still remain independent as well.
Look, it is, absolutely. And the challenge with that for a lot of couples is what most people don't realize is we don't react to what happens in front of us or what our partner does or says. We actually react to what we make that mean. So when our partner wants to pull away, or when your partner wants to pull away and have some time alone, do you make that mean they don't care about me, they don't love me, they're not interested in me, they're bored with me, they've seen too much of me? Or do you make that mean, wow, they're a human being who needs some time for themselves? But if we go in and we say, I want you to change, you've got to stop because I don't like it, then really what we're doing is we're talking from our anxiety. So our anxiety is compelling us, the bully anxiety is compelling us to try and shut it down. I'm trying to shut it down. And that's not the way you talk about that stuff, because the more I call that anxiety poker. It's like I bring level 2 anxiety. I'm not a 0, I'm at level 2 anxiety already. And I bring that to the conversation by saying, well, you got to stop that. That's really annoying. That's really annoying me. And the other person, your partner, generally sees level 2, your level 2, and raises it to 4 and sends it back at you at 4. And then you see their 4 and raise it to 8 and send it back at you at 8. And we got what I call a conflict volcano, because it just goes up and up and up and up. So it's about the way you approach that stuff, because it's not about never approaching, and it's not about always pushing for it. It's about finding that balance in the middle. It's the true meaning of the word compromise. People think compromise means I feel compromised, as in I've got sacrifice. But the true compromise comes from 2 words, common promise. A common promise that both of us will get some of our needs met. So if we think of how do we compromise in the true sense, not as I've got to give up and make you happy, otherwise you'll be angry, mad, sad, or bad. It's not that. It's that how do we compromise so that both of us will feel that common promise, to both of us feel like we're getting some needs met, and how do we do that as a team?